All right, welcome to Match of the Day 3. This is an online extra after a weekend of Premier League highlights on the BBC. With me, John Hartson, Sol Campbell and Alan Hansen. Boys, as always, we start by just recapping the weekend's fixtures. Let's have a look. Pick out your star man or the most important fixture. Pretty easy this time around for you, Alan Hansen.
Well, I thought it was QPR winning at Southampton. A great story. Cesar, who's been excellent in goals for QPR, made a mistake. Then he came off, and Robert Green, who's been up and down for QPR and has an up and down couple of seasons, came on and was a hero. And, you know, we all thought that QPR were dead and buried, and Harry said, no, we can survive, and it's given them a lifeline. 4 points from safety at the moment. And a nice run of fixtures coming up, as we talked about in the main show. It begs the question, and obviously Harry said the article was untrue, but nevertheless, the team went away and bonded in whatever way they did. What's the best football and Beano you three guys have been on? Start with you, John Hartson. What's the best when you come on? We want everything nitty-gritty.
Well, actually, when I worked with Harry, you know, we went up to Scotland and we went to Troon for the last day of the Open back in 1997, and it was fantastic. You know, Harry's great at that, getting the new signings together and bonding and going out for a couple of beers. You know, that's great. Did you win the next game? It was pre-season friendly, so it wasn't that important.
Right, OK. So what about you, Sol? Where have you been? Torremolinos?
No, the same. Dubai. Harry. Just like John. Fantastic.
Spotting a theme here, Alan. I'm the only person here, Harry, hasn't taken an holiday. Right. what did you do there, Sol?
We trained hard, you know, because over there in Dubai it's very hot, so we trained in the morning, worked hard, probably had one night out, but Harry hates anyone going out drinking. Anyone in the game would know that. So, you know, he wants everyone to train hard and relax and get a bit of bonding.
What you've just said fits what he said happened. Yeah, train in the morning, one night out.
Well, I played at a time when, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of money in football, and what we did was we'd go to the pub. And, but that is a fact. If we were having a bad time, they would take us to the pub, and if we were having a good time, they would take us to the pub. Because you talk about all these away days that big companies have. 16 players, 2 coaches and a manager having a drink was much more a bonding session than anything. And it always worked. It always did the trick.
You used to play quite a lot of pre-season games, say, in Northern Ireland or in Scotland or whatever. And there's some great shots I've seen of Liverpool teams playing at Windsor Park against Linfield. And when you come down the tunnel, it's beginning of August, and the Liverpool team are all perfectly tanned, right? And whoever the Northern Irish team you were playing were as white as a sheet. They haven't been anywhere yet. No holiday at all.
Those were the days.
Well, listen, we have the Killjoys, the BBC, only allows to do 10 minutes a Match of Day 3, and I've got 2 things I want to do, so we'll move on from the fixtures now. We had a good chat, and QPR was a big result. Tottenham Arsenal, of course, a big result as well. It's just nice to have Sol, that we can have a proper chat with you. This is where the hard journalism comes in. I'm going to start with the most important thing, as you know, interior design. John Hartson, your wife's a qualified interior designer.
Yeah.
Sol Campbell, you're married an interior designer, right?
Yeah.
And Alan Hansen has a nice sofa. He's a bit tight. He's had it from 1976, but it's still in good nick. Isn't that right?
Excellent condition, yeah, excellent.
Does it rub off on you two? Your houses must be beautiful, that's all I'm saying.
Well, she decides the wallpaper and the curtains, obviously, and no, I'd just leave her to it. You know, she's the interior designer, you know, degrees, masters and all this, so just leave it to her.
I don't mean this offensive to you, Johnny Hartson, but Sol, you're a very stylish man. Fashion's important to you as well. I mean, I got... You know those things you put the album covers in? Have you seen those? You put the old album sleeves in.
Yeah.
So I once in my old flat got 9 of those and put 9 like nice artistic album covers in. That looked really good. And have you anything soft?
I'm pleased for you.
I'm just trying to raise the level of this.
No, you don't raise any level. I mean, Sol's married to an interior designer. Album covers. What use is that telling me?
But that was.
I prefer photography and, you know, old paintings.
That's class. That's what you call class.
Yeah.
And photography and old paintings.
Black and white photography?
Both. Contemporary as well.
And contemporary as well.
Fantastic.
Is there any of that with yourself? No, you're more...
I like golf courses.
Well, that's... golf courses, that's
a design.
Design?
Exactly.
Right, OK.
Exactly.
I'm glad we did that. I'm really glad we did that. Who did you support growing up, Sol?
No one.
No football team such... were you big into... Did you know you were good at football from a young age, or...?
No, I love football, yeah.
Yeah.
I love football. My closest team was West Ham.
Okay.
But back in those days, didn't have no money to actually go to West Ham or any other club. So most of my football was watching TV or on the streets playing football.
Okay. 73 caps for England, I think it is, or thereabouts, isn't it?
Well, it can't be thereabouts.
Yeah. It's 73. That's true. I think it's 73. I looked it up earlier.
Yeah,
73, okay.
yeah.
And who was your goal against? You scored
Sweden.
1. Sweden.
And 2 disallowed.
But this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that infamous goal, 2-2, in extra time against Argentina, lose on penalties. Now, to me, it was a perfectly good goal. That's why we don't put you on here with Alan Shearer, because he was the one who was meant to have fouled the keeper. What's your view of that goal, watching it back? Do you still think it should have stood?
Yeah.
See, I still think,
honestly,
watching the replay, it was a good goal.
It was a good goal.
It was a good goal.
Good header.
But the Portugal one was worse.
True.
Yeah, that was worse.
Are they the two big things? I mean, I'd still be angry.
On those, you score one, you can go to the quarterfinals. The other one puts England into the semi-finals, the European Cup. So, yeah, you always think back, what if?
I've got a question for you. I mean, you had a glittering career, and I've always said that centre-back play is all about partnership, and you played with a few. Who was the best you played with?
Best, England-wise, is definitely going to be Rio.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, fantastic. But when it comes to Arsenal,
Adams or Keogh.
It's both of those two. Yeah.
You can't have both of them. You can't have both of them. So you can only have one.
Well, I only played a few games with Tony, and
And he was better.
No, we won we had the FA Cup. We won the FA Cup. Did the double in my first year. But then Martin Keown, I played a lot more with Martin Keown. He was just a fighter. Proper fighter, defend. If you wanted someone to defend, he was definitely the first one on the sheet.
So the answer was Tony. You get on the phone to Martin and tell him.
Tell him what that was.
Saul likes Tony better than Martin.
Invincibles, is that as big a tag as champions, or does that word just give you still almost like I can't think of an equivalent. No, Alan, it's not a trophy, but it's that word and it's that team. And
you do run, footballers love trophies and winning, and when it comes to Invincible and going the whole season, people, connoisseurs will know, but it's always nice if you win the European Cup or League or FA Cup or whatever, trebles. So people remember those guys who win the cups. Connoisseurs will know a lot about the going the whole season and into majority of the following season without getting beaten at 49 games.
Yeah.
But if you're not into football, you won't know that.
Exactly. I suppose it's judged by winning trophies. So 3 FA Cups, was it, with Arsenal?
1 with Portsmouth.
1 with Portsmouth.
Don't forget that one.
2...
League Cup.
A League Cup with Spurs. But 2 league titles with Arsenal. Do you think you're judged in terms of the mythology? The more trophies you win, the more you're loved by the fans?
I think it's satisfaction for yourself, really. And I'm sure the fans appreciate if you win cups and league titles for them. So you will be remembered forever if you win a cup. Or we'll look at Portsmouth. Yeah. The team who played in Portsmouth and won the cup, they will be remembered to next time they win it. But
I suppose the whole... I mean, you were on the show for Spurs Arsenal. You played 120 times odd more for Spurs than you did for Arsenal. We know what the fans think. The vast majority of Spurs fans, they're getting away from it. They think, whatever they want to say. Yeah. But where does it sit with you? Because you're the guy who pulled that shirt on 200 and something odd times. And do you feel there's a little bit of a gap there, a missing link now, because you are so estranged from the club that you gave 100% for?
Yeah, well, whilst I was there, I played 100%, so I was, played excellent, top football, young player coming into the game. Tottenham was a great start for me. I had Ozzy Ardiles and Steve Perriman who brought me in. I played great football. I learnt from a lot of lads from there. Mabbott was excellent in the beginning, so I just grew and grew, and I enjoyed my time. But you make decisions, and I had to move on. And this situation came up, Arsenal, and it took a long time for me to decide on it. But in the end, yes, it probably hurt, and a lot of people weren't too happy one side of the North London. But when you look at what I've won and what I've achieved, you can't really question it.
On that subject,
It's a great line.
Yeah.
Put your medals on the table. I actually said that only once in my life, and it was at Anfield in 1981. And I'd won at that time 2 league championships, 2 European Cup and a League Cup. And I said to Alan Ball, what have you won in the game of football? And he said, the World Cup. And I said, yeah, well, apart from that. It was like the World Cup. I'm sorry.
It's funny you should mention trophies, because I found something out just before we come in. This is what we're going to finish on. Saul's going to take his mic off at this stage, because there's something that Saul can do to finish now that you're not allowed to do. If you do it, you will get your arm twisted up your back, literally. Johnny, you can't do it because it's guarded, but Saul Campbell can. We didn't know this. To finish match of day 3, Saul Campbell will come over here and lift the Premier League trophy aloft without gloves. If you are a champion, you can touch this trophy whenever you want. We get told off. So to finish match of day 3, only
Well done,
champions
Saul.
can
Well
lift
done.
it. Up it goes.
There you go.
Good night, everyone. We got a close-up. There it is. Go. Yeah, good night.
Brilliant.